Hello, everybody. How y'all doing today? All right, it is 7 o'clock Central. For all y'all who have been confused, we are on Central Time at Imagination Woods. What we're going to do today, I've got two new blanks in a brand new style, a brand new series that we're going to turn this evening. I've also got, check this out, I've got a whole new view for the lathe setup, and I think y'all might like it. What y'all think about that? So you're getting the long shot from the Canon, and then the over-the-top shot from the GoPro. So that ought to look pretty cool. Hey, Miss Ann, how you doing? All right, so this is one of the blanks that we're going to turn tonight. The other one is already on the lathe. These are tubed for a Sierra. I'm going to work on a style as well for all of my DP, all my diamond painting people, and see if we can't do a decorated scene style blank for y'all as well. Say these two are tubed. You have to forgive my voice, it's scratchy today for some reason. Both of these are tubed for a Sierra. We're going to put them on some Elegant Beauties from Classic Nib, Nails Matheson. Out of Classic Nib, we've got a couple of, if I don't have Elegant Beauties, I've got Elegant Monarchs. So Sierra style pens, that's all that they are. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to get these turned up. One of them I will auction in the group, and the other one will be a giveaway. So I need you, if you're not already subscribe and like this video, and that'll get you entered in for the giveaway, liking the video, and then we'll have a sign up over in the group as well. So without further ado, if I can find the right screen, let's go over to the lathe and get some turning done. I've got to get the chat window up here on the TV as well, so just bear with me for 1 minute so I can see what's going on. Pop out chat, make it big. I couldn't do it like that. Let's do it like this. Won't let me do it like that, so I'll have to do it like this. I'll get this, I will figure out the best way to get this over to the TV eventually. There's about 4 different ways I can do it, and none of them are easy. big. Huh. I just seem to be completely unable to do it today for some reason. Well, that won't work. Let's see if we can do it this way. It's amazing. One day it's easy, I get it over there, and I can see it just fine. And then the next day I have issues with it. Well, I guess I'll just have to turn the TV screen and come check on it every once in a while. Alright, so here's the blank. I've got it mounted in bushings, and we're going to turn between centers. These are the turn between center bushings from, again, Niles out at Classic Nib, or Nails, rather, out at Classic Nib. Get all the sounds turned off on everything. Got my phone beeping in the background. And we are going to run the dust collector this evening, so it's going to be a little noisy, but not too bad. Make sure that spins easy. All right, let's get started. all I'm trying to do at this point is get it round. I didn't trim these up at all. The only trimming I did on them was squaring the ends up. Turn that camera down just a little bit. That should be a better image for y'all now. Got it round. We'll squirt just a little water on it and take a look at it. See how much of the scenery we've cut out of it. Alright, cool. I hadn't hit anything yet. Maybe just a little bit of that bush right there. We've got 6 viewers, is that all? Hey Jennifer. Hey y'all share it in the groups for me. I'm gonna share it in a couple real quick. But try and get these views up just a little bit. This is one of our scene blanks. Alright, there we go. But this is the first test of our scene blanks. I cast it with Royal Palm because some of the items in it were kind of questionable. The mosses that I used to make the scene, I'm not gonna say that I couldn't, but I wasn't sure if they were natural mosses or not, and I wasn't sure of the makeup of the dyes in them, so I didn't bake them. And the glue that I used was a water-based glue, so we all know how Alumilite is with any type of moisture, so I decided to play it safer rather than sorry and just use Royal Palm because I knew I would have a successful cast with Royal, but I wasn't all that confident with Alumilite. Hopefully I will be able to cast these with Alumilite, because that Alumilite is my preferred resin to turn and to cast. But anytime I have something questionable as far as moisture content or whether or what a particular item might be made of, or the paint used on it, anything like that, anytime there's a question, I just use Royal Palm. It's a great product. It's just not my everyday, this is what I choose to cast with item. It's what I describe as my special purpose resin. I've got the shape pretty much there. Go through and even it out a little bit before we go to sandpaper. Our negative rate carbides are great for all of our different resins, but I tell you what, a negative rate scraper is awesome. It gives you a much larger contact surface area, and so any inconsistencies you can level them out with it a lot easier than you can a lot easier than you can with a round nose scraper, or with a round carbide cutter rather. Now that looks pretty nifty. I think the other one's going to look even better though. Let me just roll these ends real quick. And we'll move on to sanding on this one. Back out just a little bit on that one. I love that. Alright, so we're going to start with just a little bit of 320, move up to 600, and then on this we are going to put a CA finish on it because it's a hybrid. And I do a CA finish on 99.999% of my hybrids. It's just the best results I get is that. So that's what I do. Turn this dust collector back on. get all the lighting figured out. This GoPro is bleaching out pretty bad. Was not expecting that. Whoops. It normally has the best light compensation of anything. That didn't work. I don't know. Alright, so there we are, sanded to 600. Go grab a paper towel and we'll start our CA finish. For any of you that are just joining us, this is a new series of blanks that we're going to start making here at Imagination Woods. It's a scenic blank, I guess you could say. This one is a butterfly garden. We're going to go with the Mercury Flex. I do mine a little bit different. I see different people doing their CA finishes different ways. I found a way that works for me, so that's the way I do it. I dribble just a little bit off the top, let it run down, wipe it in. Yeah, there's a, Matthew, there's about a 2-second delay on the GoPro because it is actually running through an HDMI capture card. So it has to get processed through that capture card. So it's about 3 seconds slow. So just keep that in mind. If you miss something, you can always look to the next screen and catch it if you realize you miss it quick enough. Either that or I really have 4 hands and you just didn't know it. Okay, and I'm about to give away a secret that I've told a few people the way I do it, but you notice I'm not taking any care to stay off my bushings with this CA. I run it from one side to the next and get good coverage on my blank, and I'll show you why here in just a second. I don't know how many coats that was. It was 4 or 5 of the medium and 2 of the thin, if I'm not mistaken. More than plenty. So, the way I make sure that I don't have my blank is stuck to my bushing issues see it and hear about it all the time. And this also lets you get your sanding right to make sure that you don't have that transition from your blank to your hardware. I use my skew. So I turn it up about half normal turning speed. Go right there to the seam and cut in. And come back and cut it off the bushing. And use your old thumbnail to knock down any feathers that have popped up on it. And now, 9 times out of 10, you will have zero problems separating that bushing from that blank. I got to go add water to my micro mesh bucket. We'll get this thing polished up. See just how pretty it is. If it's your first time to the channel, welcome. Thank you for swinging by. We do a little bit of casting, a little bit of turning, and some live sales for the Imagination Woods blanks here. I'm Jeremy. I am Imagination Woods. Like I say, we're just trying to grow this channel and get someplace where my customers and people who like to see this kind of stuff can hang out. Hey, Miss Ida, I see you over there. I don't have a screen up so that I can see comments, so I just have to glance over. Ida, I don't know. Let me look at my mixer. Yeah, my audio mixer was turned down a little bit. Is that better, or is that too much? If that's too much, let me know, Ida, and I'll dial it back down a little bit. Now, so we've got our turning done. We've got our Mercury Flex CA finish on it. And now comes the moment of truth. Now, if you notice, I'm working these edges a little bit harder with this most abrasive of the micro mesh. That's to make sure that they lay down good. We'll have a nice smooth transition to the hardware once we put it together. And now, with these being the first 2 blanks out of this new series, what I'm going to do, I'm going to auction one of them off on the Imagination Woods group, and then the other one will be a giveaway. To be entered into the giveaway, I need a like on this video, and I need you to go over, once it's up on the page, I need you to go over and sign up for the drawing over there. We'll do the drawing Oh, I don't know, a couple days. We'll probably do the drawing Friday. Or maybe Thursday, I don't know. Micro mesh, you just have to run it for just a second. That's all it takes for it to do its job. These grits are so close together and there's so many of them that it only takes a second. No real pressure, just enough to make the pad conform to the blank. All right, and there's that. I'm not going to pull the buffing pads out this evening on the live, but I will go through and buff these. But just to show them off, we'll run through it with some plastics. Run through it with some plastics and put some ultimate polish on it and see what it looks like. I see everybody using some of these automotive products the right, some people use them the right way and some people don't. The plastics is just like any other cutting compound. It has an abrasive in it, so you want to put it on and work it in, you know, rub your finger back and forth on it, and it's actually smoothing and taking out scratches. The ultimate polish, so you'll be able to see it there, is just that. It's actually a polish. It's actually a coating. It adds a film layer. So that means it's just like wax. Think wax in your mind. Anytime you see polish on an automotive product, generally speaking, it is an additive product. So you put it on there and you let it flash, let it dry just a little bit. Then you come back and take it off. Because if you put a little bit on your rag and work it back and forth and don't give it a chance to dry, no film is going to get added to it. You're not giving it a chance. So, and that concludes my TED Talk for the day. All right, now remember what I told you about cutting those bushings? See how easy that came off? And there is the finished product. Now let's turn the second one. Let's see if I can find it, what I do with it. Uh-oh. It has ran away. Oh, there it is. Tip number 47. Before you put your bushings on any pin that you're turning, once you've trimmed the edges, or once you've squared the blank to the tube, that tube is probably rolled just a little bit. So if you will take a chamfering bit and just turn it a few times inside, you see that shiny edge lowered. It gets rid of the lip that your squaring tool makes. Your squaring tool can't cut the brass as efficiently as it cuts your resin or your wood, and so a portion of it rolls over as you're squaring the blank. By using that chamfering bit, you do a couple of things. You make life a whole lot easier when you go to assemble the kit, because that acts like a ramp for your hardware. How many times have you been pushing a component on and it wants to cock to the side, or you bust a blank as you're pushing it in? Now, busting the blank a lot of times is glue buildup on the inside. Do I ever finger polish? What I just did, that's my normal routine. So the closest to finger polishing that I get is one layer of micro mesh over my finger and going across it. But generally, my microfiber. Generally, my microfiber is folded in 4. It's just my general go-to. Now this one, we have a fatality. We have, I don't know if you can see it, focus right there. We have one little hummingbird that fell off the tube on this one. And you can see the glue spot on it where it used to live. So, oh well. One death isn't too bad, I don't guess. Now let's get this thing round. Oh, you know what? I never sharpened that gouge after me and Matthew used it and cut through some sandpaper the other night with it. That's why it was smoking just a little bit there. All right, and for those of you wondering, this right here is my go-to pin turning tool. It is a Sorby 1-inch. It was a flat nose scraper. I took and on the grinder added a radius to it, changed the bevel angle, and added a relief bevel on the top. And so it is a negative rake scraper. I was using this before the carbide negative rake scrapers came around, and to be honest, it does just as good, if not a better job than the negative rake carbides do. Again, and it's because it has that wider footprint. It lets you even out the small inconsistencies, whereas the contact area on a round nose scraper or even on a 2-inch radius scraper, a square, a rounded square, that, if I had to imagine, has probably got about a 6-inch radius on it. So it's just a much wider contact area. Turn this collector back on. Hey, Miss Tobin, how are you this evening? Come rolling up late. We're halfway done now. 3/4 of the way done. I think I like this one better than the last one. Slow that thing down. We'll get some Mercury CA on it. See what it looks like. It's gonna be pretty. Like I say, I do my CA a little bit different than everybody else. I just have my paper towel at the bottom, dribble a little bit across the top, and work it in. I know some people will put a few drops on their paper towel and then rub it in, and I've seen several different techniques. This is the one that I found that works for me. Everybody's different. There's no right way or wrong way as long as you're getting the result that you're after. And for those of y'all in the chat, I'm sorry I have not got it on the screen tonight. I've just been having to glance over every once in a while and check in on it. I could not get it to go to the TV this evening for some reason. I've got the video output on the TV. I'm seeing what y'all are seeing, but the chat box won't show up. It's not even showing up as an overlay. You know, a lot of times when you go full screen with a YouTube video, the chat will overlay the video. It's not even doing that. Do one more coat and call it done. Take a look at it before we sand it, see what it looks like. It's an odd looking little spot. Check on the chat, see what it's doing. Oh. Can't do that yet. Now, for those of you, Miss Tobin, for those of you who missed the first one that we turned this evening, I gave away my super secret on how to separate your blank from your bushings when you do a CA finish. And yes, I know, I'm taking a little bit of material off of these bushings. But I guarantee you, the slight amount that I'm taking off of these bushings will be a-okay. It does cut just a little bit off when you do it that way, if you're not careful. And I try and be extremely careful. Now yes, sometimes I'll see silver flakes. Silver flakes flopping along as we go, but that's all right. I have yet to have a kit that did not meet up nice and flush and beautiful with the hardware as long as the hardware was the correct size. One thing that I do on my blanks to make sure that they match up nicely is I roll the ends just a little bit so that if there is a misfit, there's not a hard edge misfit, there's a little bit of a roll. But again, everything is, I've never had one that I've noticed to be undersized or oversized. I have oversized them by building up too much CA before. But again, that's why I've gotten in the habit of going a little bit harder on the edges with the micro mesh. Again, it only takes a second on each grit for it to do its job. Now, one thing about these microfibers that you have to watch out for, they are plastic and they do melt when they get hot. So if you have something like a bottle stopper on the lathe and you have a sharp corner, very quickly you will melt that microfiber and it will be stuck. Best case scenario when that happens, you leave a small streak, whatever color the rag is. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, it grabs a hold of it and starts beating you with it until you can get the lathe stopped. I've had both happen. So, all right, let me kill this light. See if that makes the GoPro image any better. Have to wait a few seconds for it to get over there. That's a little better. Whoa. Had that happen too. That live center grabbed the threads on my live center, have grabbed a rag and flung it. Beat me to death with it just about. Well, there's finished product number 2. I think I pushed a little too hard, and that's what that funky spot is. Or it may just be where the I airbrush these tubes just with an alcohol mix. alcohol and mica mix. So there's no real, they're painted white. And then I went back with the alcohol and mica in order to give them the blue tint at the top and the green tint down near what is the ground, which is the wood. I wasn't it wasn't exactly what I was going for, but it was pretty darn close. Like I say, these were the first two test blanks. So the next ones will be, there's a couple things I'm going to do differently on the next ones. This was just basically a proof of concept. Right. Get rid of the lathe view. Why is that there? That shouldn't be there. There we go. So what do y'all think? Now you can see the little, there's a cloud in the sky is what I'm going to call it, Ida, from the from where the butterfly who perished on his mission. There it is, right there. There's a little cloud. But again, this is, oops, wrong way. Let me go this way. There we go. This is Royal Palm. It's been cured, well, came out of the pot a day and a half ago, so it's not up to full strength yet. I won't polish, well, it's got CA on it, so the polish won't really matter. So it still has a few more days of curing to do before it's at full hardness. And I think what I did is when I had it between centers and I pushed, I may have separated just a small little spot in there. It'll never be seen unless you know what you're looking for anyway. Just a little anomaly. In fact, there it is right there. The camera's not even picking it up. Oh, just a little bit. But anyway, that is all that I had for this evening. Just wanted to show these off. I will oh, my eyeballs. I will be doing many more of these. I'm going to do some for the diamond painting crowd. I'll have burl on both ends of it, and then a decorated tube in the middle. That way that gives me a way to hold the tube in the middle of the mold for casting, as well as someplace for the diamond inserts to go in. Well, that's it. I appreciate everyone who came. Like I say, we're going to auction one and we'll do a giveaway with the other. I'll put them on a Elegant Beauty or an Elegant Monarch, whichever I happen to have in stock. I know, if I'm not mistaken, I should have plenty of Elegant Beauties. So we'll find a kit that matches it well and put it together and get the pictures and posts up of it tomorrow and get the registration started, get the auction started. Thank you all for coming out this evening. Give the video a like. If you haven't followed the page, follow the page. And thank you all. Thank each and every one of you.